Aisha and welcome to our 49th Kotlin tutorial, and in this tutorial I'll be talking about the getters and setters methods in Kotlin programming language. So these getters and setters methods are used to get and set the values of the properties of a class. Then when you create an object, you pass some values to the class, and then these getters and setters methods are used to get those values and so set those values. Now if you see here, we have a class, its name is individual, and then inside the class we have a variable which is name. The name of the variable is name of string data type, and then we have some name stored in this. So this is a string which is stored in this variable. So when you write this thing, the internal working of Kotlin is, when you create an object, when you create a property of this individual class name, and then the getter member or the getter function is used. So this getter function will get the field which is name here, so it will get the field, and then the setter function or the set value function is called. So in this set function we have a parameter which is value, so this field will be equal to value. So now what is happening here, the getter function is getting the field which is name, and then the setter function is setting this field to some value which will be passed from where the property is initialized. So now what we did, when you write this simple statement, the internal working is the getters and the setter functions are called. So when you call the getter function, it gets the field which is name, and when you call the setter function, the field is set to some value. So this value is this name. So this is how this statement works. So now let's create a simple example in which I'll be using these getter and setter functions. So now these getter and setter functions are optional, and if you do not use them in your program, then the Kotlin will internally include them in your program. Now here I'm going to create a class, student class, and then inside the body of the class I will declare a variable name like we did of string data type equals some value, some default value, some value. Okay, so now this some value, I'm going to use the getter function. So getter function equals field, and then the set function, the value will be passed which is equals to field equals value, and then closing braces. So now what we did, we have created a variable of string data type and it has some value. So we have called the get function which will get the field which is name. So this get function will get the field, and then we have called the set function which will set this field to value which will be passed. So here we have passed some value, so this some value will be assigned to this name variable. So if you do not write these statements are optional, and if you do not write them, the Kotlin programming will internally include them in your program. So now here I'm going to create an object of the student class, empty parameters, and then I'm going to use this object to access the data member or the member function which is name. So here it should be noted, I haven't used any private or public modifiers, and when you do not use any modifier, then this name will be public by default. Then object dot name equals, for example, Aisha, and then on the next line print line dollar symbol, and then we will have curly braces. So inside these curly braces I'm going to write the name object, the name of the object which is obj, and then name. So what we did, first of all, we have created a class named student, and then inside this class we have a data member or a property which is name of string data type. So I have assigned a value, some value assigned to this name. Then I have used this get function which will get the field, and field here is name. Then I have used the set value function which will set the value of field to some value. So this field equals value, and this value is this string. So now in the main function I have created an object of the student class, and then I have used this object to access the member of the student class, which is name. Then I have assigned a value to this member. I'm going to assign Aisha, and then I have used print line statement to print this property of the student class. Now here Aisha will be assigned to name of the student class. Run. And you can see Aisha is printed. So how this works: when you use the object to access the name class, we are passing a value actually, which is Aisha. So in the get method, field is get, we have name here. Then in the set method, name is set to value, which is Aisha now. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.